My name's Andrew Wood, and I'm going to be talking about my top 25 all-time favorite professional wrestlers. In at number 25 is Kamala. He was a magnificent seller, the way he would rock and reel. Oh, man, it was just great. I love me some Kamala. Slap the Gouye. And at 24, Dr. Death Steve Williams, the Dr. Driver, is the most awe-inspiring finishing move I've ever seen. How that doesn't kill you and send you out of wrestling forever, I do not know. I was trained as a professional wrestler, and I do not see how you could possibly take that move. I sure as hell wouldn't. But then again, if I had to fight Dr. Death in his prime, I might take it one way or the other without my consent, you understand? In at 23, the cosmic professional Orrin Anderson. I grew up in the NWA country. Man who would hit DDT, the spine buster, the gourd buster. He beat the jobbers in so many different ways. He was interesting to watch in his squash matches. Interesting angles he was in. A great promo. And at 22 is going to be Stan Hansen. Back there with the AWA belt, destroyed it, and sent it back to Verne Gagne. Loved him in WCW. He was crazy. He'd swing the thing around. I mean, that guy, a real badass. The way he hit the let out on Japan wrestling. You know, I could sit through those matches just to watch him. And I don't like watching matches that have commentary in a different language. But I certainly watched a lot of his. Those are a lot of matches from Japan. But at 21, from Bad Street, USA, the last house on the left, Michael P.S. Hayes. Didn't like him with Garvin. Well, liked him, but didn't like Garvin. Liked him with Gordy. Didn't like him with Roberts. Loved him as an announcer in UWF. As a single run in WCW, I think, / NWA. Even as a Hardy Boy manager, he was good. Jermaine just had tremendous charisma. Woo! And at number 20, Nature Boy Ric Flair, the old coot. My favorite moment with him was in WWF, and he was doing the musical chairs and strutting around. I think I'm actually going to go watch that on YouTube. I should have done the video. That was just astoundingly funny. I really enjoyed that. The only problem, Ric Flair's looked exactly like this kid who lived across the street from me that I fucking hated when I was a kid named Robbie Dick. He used to beat the shit out of him all the time. And he looked just like Ric Flair, so that's probably the reason I never liked Flair when I was a kid. And at 19, Shane Douglas, former NWA champion, threw the belt down disgustedly to rechristen it the ECW title. I never watched it now. And living in Newport News, Virginia at the time, we were one of the first places to get ECW wrestling. And we got it in 1994. And I remember watching it on TV. I was like, ooh, you know, and I really enjoyed that. Although I'd seen him back in NWA, and I saw his UWF stuff. Didn't care much for that when he was, Dynamic Dudes or whatever. I thought his later WCW run was pretty decent. And at number 18, another ECW guy, Stevie Richards. Loved his stuff when he turned face on Raven. Loved him as Right to Censor. He's the hottest heel in the country. The most heat, at least. And he was just so amazing in that gimmick. The fact that he was never been pushed harder is a real misfortune. I know he had a lot of injury problems that he'd keep him back. But to me, he was real world champion material. A lot better than most of the guys who are on top right now. I think it's too late for anyone to really look to invest that push in him. But I really wish TNA would. Vampiro is number 17. Ron Simmons, the man with so much anger. I mean, this personification of rage and anger. We call it the angry black spine buster. He's trying to put you right through the mat. I love me some Ron Simmons. Love Doom. Nation was okay. Liked his singles push. Loved the Acolytes. William Regal in at 15. He'd probably be a little higher if he didn't kiss Vince's ass on TV. That's just ridiculous. I mean, you should do everything for the business, but you shouldn't do that. There's a great job there, Vince. Really drew money with that one, didn't you? I knew I had to tune in next week to see who else's ass. You piece of shit. Next on the list is you need to Tin Hut Maggot when Sergeant Slaughter is talking to you. And I really loved him in the AWA, and when he came to WF and flipped heel, I was whoa. He would take that and just grind it in you because he couldn't do he couldn't do the Cobra Clutch because the $1 Million Dream, it was the same move. And I really love seeing that knuckle to the head. God, I used to love to do that to people when I was a kid. One of my favorite things back in the day, man. We would just wrestle all the time, shooting but wrestling at the same time. It's kind of funny looking back on it, and I love that one. God, people are screaming at that move. Trust me, it legitimately does work. In at 13 is the master and the ruler of the world, Sid Vicious. He's a great worker. There you go. Oh, Sid Vicious is not a great worker. Yes, he is. The reason why, he protects his character and he understands how Sid Vicious needs to work. You know, he would come in and just destroy you. And he would come into ECW and he was just destroying Impact players. And he has so much charisma. Horrible mic skills. But just so much charisma. Such a great look. And just that awe look. You know, if he actually had presentable mic skills, he would have been the next Hogan. That's really his Achilles heel. Mic skills are very important. He didn't have them. But really understood the business in terms of how to make sure he stayed over, which is very, very important. Number 12, Tracy Smothers. I remember watching him as a Wild-Eyed Southern Boy, and he would just do this crazy dance on the outside. I was like, man, there's so much more to this guy, but he's just stuck in this stupid redneck gimmick. And then we went to WWF twice, and they completely misused him. You know, in ECW, you really started to get the comedy out. If you watch the shit in Juggalo Championship Wrestling, very funny is the Tennessee Strangler. He starts choking people. Just something absurdly funny to me about watching someone choke another person. I really like Tracy Smothers. I think he's an outstanding hand. And in at number 11 is Abdullah Butcher. Abdullah would be much higher, but unfortunately, the last 10 years I've watched shoot interviews, and Abdullah Butcher is a complete douchebag. It's so unfortunate because I really had for the longest I wanted to go to Abdullah Butcher's House of Ribs and Chinese food in Atlanta, Georgia. But he's a douchebag. I've seen multiples of his shoots, and it's just unfortunate. Thought he was very credible. Loved his work with foreign objects. He was just the master of the foreign object. Loved the Jack in the Box, Abby in the Box gimmick when they brought them out and had them beat on Sting. Of course, Sting, you know, he trying to, just a piece of trash, not trying to put anybody over. He should have been jawing left or right to those guys. They should have gotten lots of wins over him, got tons of heat. Then Sting should have come back and got that big win and made the money. But they just used, that whole thing was booked very, very poorly. So shame on them for that. And at number 10, Mr. Perfect, Kurt Hennig. I saw him in AWA originally, didn't like him then. Loved him as Perfect. The towel, the gum, everything was great. He sold amazingly. One of the best sellers of all time is standing psychology and ring work. I know he kind of got hurt there in the exact timeline, but he's definitely the guy that should have gotten that push over Bret Hart. Bret Hart is not 1/1000th of the talent of Kurt Hennig. Then he got, kind of held down with the politics when he was in WCW. In the Rap is Crap gimmick, he was the most on-fire babyface in all of professional wrestling, not just in WCW. Should have been the world champion with the West Texas Rednecks behind him. They were massively over. Couldn't even get the shirt. I continuously tried to get that shirt when that was over. Could not get it. It was not possible. Kurt Angle in at number 9. Kurt Angle is the top guy that's still really an active wrestler on my list. In at number 8 is formerly my favorite professional wrestler, Cactus Jack. And if you look at me, you might know why. I actually have a picture when I dressed up as Mankind for Halloween, and multiple people, including people on both my family, my side and my wife's side of the family. It's me and her Halloween before we're married, and I'm dressed up as Mankind wrestling for Hot. He used to have really long hair. People legitimately to this day still think that's her with Mankind, the similarity. And I've done literally, when wrestling was hot, I had literally dozens of people come up to me and think that I was in fact Mankind. I trained to be a professional wrestler years ago, and the way they wanted to promote me was as his younger brother. I was the promoter. They're going to call me something Foley, kicking around different names, but that's what they wanted to go with. And at number 7 is Waylon Mercy, or Dan Spivey. I really like Spivey, but as Mercy, he was wonderful. The greatest gimmick we never really got to see done. All that stuff. If you don't know who he is, just type Waylon Mercy and start hunting around on the internet. He's absolutely outstanding. It was cut far too short, tragically. And at number 6, Terry Funk. Terry Funk, particularly in that 1989 run with Flair up into the early 90s when he was managed by Gary Hart, who's the most awesome manager of all time. Terry Funk seemed real. He is, by any standard other than who drew the most money, Hulk Hogan's the greatest wrestler of all time because he drew the most money, and that's really all that counts in professional wrestling. However, if you use any other criteria or standard, Terry Funk is the greatest wrestler of all time, and there's no way to argue that. He was on top forever, amazing, always drew money, but most importantly, he was real. And if you watch Terry Funk stuff, it looks real, all of it. There's psychology to it, amateur wrestling background. He can go hardcore. He can do everything. I mean, the guy does moonsaults, or at least he used to. But when I watched him take Ric Flair and pile drive him through that table, I'd never seen anything like that before. In '89 at Chi-Town Rumble, I said. And then watching his later interviews, I said, wow, I know the professional wrestling isn't real. The fans know. The wrestlers know. Terry Funk doesn't know that. No one has told Terry Funk. Or maybe they tried, and he beat the shit out of them and pile drove their head into concrete. Terry Funk, so it looked like Ric Flair was in for the fight of his life. That, again, handled poorly, booked poorly. Funk should have got a string of wins over Flair, destroying him, and Flair should finally have gotten the win. They just didn't know how to book, I guess. Just terribly booked stuff, because that could have been one of the most over things of all time. Iron Sheik in at number 5, just for his shoot interviews, man. He is absurdly funny. You can look some of this stuff up on YouTube. Never really liked him in the ring, honestly. Number 4, Scott Hall. Number 3. 2 and 3 were Bret Hart. Number 3 is going to be Hulk Hogan. Number 2, Dusty Rhodes, the fan baby. They're talking about the Bull of the Wood. 3-time NWA Heavyweight Champion, baby. The man who's a son of a plumber. Talking about 295 pounds. A blue-eyed soul that has gripped a nation, you understand, baby. Grew up in NWA country. I've seen Dusty wrestle a lot before. You love Dusty. He was the master of those bullet market interviews that they would do for the promotion of house shows. And he would really explain to you why you had this, why this was the one you could not miss. And I'd be sitting there thinking, man, this is the one I can't miss. I have to be there to see Dusty Rhodes. Because, God, I mean, he's got to have the fans cheering for him, because he might not win this one. And he was just amazing. Better than that anyone else. The master of the babyface promo. Best babyface promo of all time. And at number 1 is What a Rush! Road Warrior Hawk. Love Road Warrior Hawk. When I was a kid, like I said, one of my favorite things to do was just wrestle, like shoot style. And probably some of you out there used to do that too. And my best friend's favorite wrestler was Animal. Mine was Hawk. And it would hit the doomsday device on kids all the time. All the time. Like, you're extremely dangerous. Don't do this at home. And if you do, make sure you record it and then send me a link, because I will watch it and I will laugh. But love Hawk, man. I cried when he died. He had so much charisma. He was the reason why LOD was such a huge deal. He's an inch taller than Animal, had a better cut and build than Animal, although he was a few pounds lighter. Much better worker, much better at selling. Great mic skills, great voice, great look. And he would have been a multi-time world heavyweight champion, one of the top. He was the top guy in the business during that time, except for Hogan. He was better than Flair. He was better than all these guys. And he would have been a legit singles wrestler if he didn't have that Robert Gibson anchor named Animal around his waist, dragging him down. And that's why tag team wrestling was so big then, because you had one of the very top of the industry in there at Hawk. Very unfortunate. His life did end so soon, but he was a fantastic asset to the industry. Now, if you would like to post your own list, please do so. If you would like to tell me I'm a fucking idiot for liking people that you don't like, or cracking on Bret Hart's monkey ass, or whatever, please do. That's straight. I'm not gonna delete you or ban you. I don't care. Tell me I'm an idiot and flame me or whatever. I'm pretty cool with that kind of stuff. At least try to keep it coherent so I can respond to you. I like to have dialogue. Feel free to list your top 5, 10, 3,000 wrestlers. Make 18 replies below if you like. If you'd like to place a reply video to this, I'm real cool with that too. I just click them. I don't have to listen to them first. I will listen to them though. I'll watch them and leave you feedback as well. So thanks for taking the time to watch this, and I appreciate it, baby.